Welcome to meditation and focused mental rehearsal. What is your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you focusing on? Keep all of this in mind as you enter into this relaxed state. Now, become aware of the space that your lips occupy in space. Sense the volume of space that your lips are in space. Sense the space that your jaw occupies in space. Notice the volume of space that your entire jaw is in space. Feel the space that your cheeks occupy in space. Notice the density of space that your cheeks take up in space. Notice the space that your nose occupies in space. Sense the volume of space that your entire nose is in space. Sense the space that your eyes occupy in space. Feel the volume of space that your eyes are in space. Pay attention to the space that your entire forehead occupies in space, all the way to your temples. Sense the volume of space that your entire forehead is in space. Notice the space that your entire face occupies in space. Sense the density of space that your entire face is in space. Notice the space that your ears occupy in space. Sense the volume of space that your ears are in space. Feel the space that your entire head occupies in space. Sense the volume of space that your entire head is in space. Notice the volume of space that the column of your neck occupies in space. Sense the density of space that your entire neck is in space. Notice the space that your entire upper torso occupies in space. The density of space taken up by your chest, your ribs, your heart and lungs, all the way to your back and shoulder blades to your shoulders. Can you sense the volume of space that your entire upper torso is in space? Grow conscious of the space that your entire upper limbs occupy in space, and the weight of space that your upper extremities are in space. Your shoulders, your arms, your elbows and forearms, the density of your wrists and hands. Can you notice the weight of space that your entire upper limbs are in space? Sense the volume of space that your entire lower torso occupies in space. Your abdomen, your flanks, your ribs, all the way to your lower back and spine. Can you sense the volume of space that your entire lower torso is in space? Feel the density of space that your entire lower extremities occupy in space. Your butt, your groin, your thighs, the density of space of your knees, the weight of your shins and your calves. Notice the volume of space that your ankles and feet, down to your toes, your entire lower limbs occupy in space. Notice the space that your entire body occupies in space. Sense the density of space that your entire body is in space. Sense the space around your body in space. Notice the volume of space that the space around your body takes up in space. Sense the space that space is in space. Sense the space that this entire room occupies in space. Sense the volume of space that this room takes up in all of space. And now, can you sense the space that all of space takes up in space? and the volume of space that space is in space. Close your eyes and take a few deep, slow breaths to relax your mind and body. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Make your breaths long, slow, and steady. Rhythmically inhale and exhale until you move into the present. When you are in the moment, you are entering a world of possibility. There is a powerful intelligence within you that is giving you life, which loves you so much. When your will matches its will, when your mind matches its mind, when your love for life matches its love for you, it always responds. It will move in you and all around you, and you will see evidence in your life as a result of your efforts. To be greater than your environment, to be greater than the conditions in your life, to be greater than the feelings that are memorized in the body, to think greater than the body, to be greater than time, means that you are tugging on the garment of the divine. Your destiny then is a reflection of a co-creation with a greater mind. Love yourself enough to do this and ride into the sunset that is your life. Now, you cannot create a new future while holding on to the emotions of the past. What was the emotion that you wanted to unmemorize? Keep it in mind. Remember what that emotion feels like in your body. Recognize the familiar state of mind that is driven by that emotion. It's time to turn to the power within you. Introduce yourself to it and tell it what you want to change about yourself. Begin to admit to it who you have been and what you have been hiding. In your mind, talk to it. Remember that it is real. Although you cannot sense it, it is undoubtedly there and existing as it always has been. It already knows you. It doesn't judge you. It only loves. Repeat after me. Universal consciousness. Within me and all around me. I have been, and I truly want to change from this limited state of being. Once more, repeat after me. Universal consciousness. Within me and all around me. I have been, and I truly want to change from this limited state of being. It's time to free the body from the mind, to close the gap between how you appear and who you are, to liberate your energy. Release your body from the familiar emotional bonds which keep you connected to everything, every place, and everyone in your past and present reality. It is the moment to free up your energy. Say the emotion you want to change out loud, and in doing so, liberate it from your body as well as your environment. Say it now. It is now time to surrender this state of being to a greater mind and to ask it to resolve this in a way that is right for you. Can you relinquish control to a greater authority that already has the answers? Surrender to this infinite mind and understand that this intelligence is absolutely real. It only waits in admiration and in willingness. It only responds when you ask for help. Surrender your limitation to an all-knowing intelligence. Simply open the door, give it up, and let go completely. Let it take your limitation from you. Repeat after me. Infinite mind, I give you my. Take it from me and resolve this emotion into a greater sense of wisdom. Free me from the chains of my past. Now, just how you would feel if you knew this mind was taking this memorized emotion from you. Once more, repeat after me. Infinite mind, I give you my. Take it from me and resolve this emotion into a greater sense of wisdom. Free from me the chains of my past. Free me from the chains of my past. Now, just feel how you would feel if you knew this mind was taking this memorized emotion from you right now. Now, let's make sure that no thought, no behavior, no habit that causes you to return back to the old self goes unnoticed by you. To make sure, let's become conscious of those unconscious states of mind and body. How did you used to think when you felt that way? What did you say to yourself? What voice did you believe that you no longer want to accept as your reality? Observe those thoughts. Begin to separate yourself from the program. How did you once behave? How did you speak? Become conscious of those unconscious states to such an extent that they would never go unnoticed by you again. To begin to objectify the subjective mind, to begin to observe the program, means you are no longer the program. Awareness is your goal. Remind yourself who you no longer want to be, how you no longer want to think, how you no longer want to behave, and how you no longer want to feel. Become familiar with all aspects of the old personality and simply observe. With firm intention, make a choice to no longer be that person and let the energy of your decision become a memorable experience and dissolve into the hands of the universal intelligence. Now, it's time to play the change game. I want you to imagine 3 scenarios in your life where you could start to feel like the oldest self again. And when you do, I want you to say change out loud. First, imagine that it is morning and you are in the shower, and as you are getting ready for your day, all of a sudden you notice this familiar feeling starting to chrome up. And the moment you notice it, you say change. That's right, you change it. Because living by that emotion is not loving to you. And it is no use signaling the same genes in the same way. Nerve cells that no longer fire together, no longer wire together. You're in control of that. Next, I want you to see yourself in the middle of the day. You are driving down the road, and suddenly that familiar feeling that drives those familiar thoughts starts to come up. And what do? You say change. That's right, you change. Because the rewards of being healthy and happy are so much more important than returning back to the old self. Living by that emotion has never been loving to you. Every time you change your state, you know that nerve cells that no longer fire together, no longer wire together, and you no longer turn on the same genes in the same ways. Now, I want you to play the change game one more time. See yourself getting ready for bed. You are pulling the covers back, and as you start to get into bed, you notice that familiar feeling coming up, which is tempting you to behave as the old personality. And what do? You say change. That's right, you change it. Because nerve cells that no longer fire together, no longer wired together. Signaling that gene in that way is not loving to you, and nobody and nothing is worth it. You control that. Now, what is the greatest expression of yourself that you can be? How would a great person think and act? How would such an individual live? How would he or she love? What does greatness feel like? Move into a state of being. It is time to change your energy and broadcast a new electromagnetic signature. When you change your energy, you change your life. Let the thought become the experience, and let that experience produce an elevated emotion so that your body begins to emotionally believe that the future you is already living now inside of your body. Allow yourself to turn on new genes in new ways. Signal the body emotionally ahead of the actual event. Allow yourself to fall in love with the new ideal. Open your heart and begin to recondition your body to a new mind. Let the inward experience become a mood, then a temperament, and finally a new personality. Move into a new state of being. How would you feel if you were this person? You can't get up as the same person who sat down. You won't get up as the same person who sat down. You have to feel so much gratitude that your body begins to change ahead of the actual event, and accept that the new ideal is already you. Become it. To be empowered, to be free, to be unlimited, to be creative, to be genius, to be divine. That is who you are. Once you feel this way, memorize this feeling. Remember this feeling forever. This is who you really are. Let go and release it into the field for a moment. Simply let go. Let's do it again. Can you create your new self out of nothing one more time? Remember, you are the eternal creator. Let's fire and wire a new mind and recondition the body to a new emotion. Become familiar with a new state of mind and body. What is the greatest expression of yourself? Allow yourself to begin to think like this ideal again. What would you say to yourself? How would you walk? How would you breathe? How would you move? How would you live? What would you feel? Allow yourself to emotionally feel like this new self, so much so that you begin to move into a new state of being. It is time to change your energy again, and remember what it feels like to be this person. Expand your heart and allow this emotion to fill it with love. Who do you want to be when you open your eyes? You are signaling new genes in new ways. Feel empowered once again. Move into a new state of being. A new state of being is a new personality. A new personality creates a new personal reality. This is where you create a new destiny. From this elevated state of mind and body, this superior state of being, it is time to command matter as a quantum observer of your new reality. Feel invincible, powerful, inspired, and overjoyed. From this new state of being, form a picture of some event you want to experience and let the image become the blueprint of your future. Observe that reality and allow the particles as waves of probability to collapse into an event called an experience in your life. See it, command it, hold it, and then move to the next picture. Let your energy now become entangled to that destiny. That future event has to find you because you created it with your own energy. Let yourself go and create the future you want in certainty, trust, and knowingness. Do not analyze. Do not try to figure out how it is going to happen. It is not your job to control the outcome. It is your job to create and lead the details to a greater mind. As you see your future as the observer, simply bless your life with your own energy. Be one with your destiny from a new state of mind and body. Give thanks for a new life. Feel how you will feel when these things manifest in your life, because living in a state of gratitude is living in a state of receivership. Feel like your prayers are already answered. Finally, it is time to turn to that power within you and ask it for a sign in your life. If today you emulated this greater mind as a creator who is observing all of life into form, and you made contact with it, it has been observing your efforts and intentions, then it should show cause in your life. Know that it is real, beyond all senses, that it exists, and that you now have a two-way communication with it. Ask that this sign from the quantum field come in a way that you would least expect, that surprises you and leaves no doubt that this new experience has come from the universal mind, so that you are inspired to do it again. Ask for this sign now. Move your awareness back to a new body, in a new environment, and in a whole new line of time. When you are ready, bring your awareness back up to beta. Open your eyes. The world is for yours.